Hello there, Charnyte here. Uh, we can have another yapping session. I mean, I've been planning to do this since yesterday, and I noticed that my video is popping up, so I was like, well, might as well make a follow-up on that. And it's about one thing that most content creator, not just Vtuber, doesn't really talk about in the public, right? Not in public space anyway, because people are fear of stigmatized, and it might be too much for the audience, the viewers that they get, or just their friend or family. Really, it's a hard thing to talk about, and that is about mental health. It's on the title. You know what's gonna be happening here in the video. But yeah, I guess I'm very open about my mental health. I talk about it pretty much all the time with my audience, my viewers, my regular chatter, really. And to be honest, it's a weird thing because I've seen more people that is really unstable, despite the time that they not very, how do I say this? Like, they seems fine on the surface, and they seem to have like a decent life. But life is unpredictable, so you can't really just live like that and call it a day or something like that. I don't know how to put it. So I've been mentally ill for at least a decade now, more than a decade actually. Like childhood trauma, PTSD, depression, anxiety, you name it. Now I don't know if I fall into the autism spectrum, but my doctor did tell me that I might be on the high functional end of the spectrum. So there's that. It may explain why I'm the way I am now, like writing story and creating story that are based off of my delusions and stuff like that. Man, I feel like I think I talked about that before, but I deleted the video because it was not good. Not good, not worth the watch. Depression is, at least in Asia and in Southeast Asia, although I live in a rather well understanding country now, because Southeast Asia country doesn't really care much for, well, the mentally ill, or if I have to put it into a blunt word, it would be mentally challenged people. So that's not just depression, it's also autism and ADHD, and it's a rough battle if you like fight it for like decade or so. I'm just happy I don't have ADHD or like OCD, because I've seen what that does to a lot of people, and it sucks, especially if you're like in a in studying phase. Although most of my viewers are not teenagers, I don't make content for teenagers, so this might not be that useful. But some of you might have been through university or college, maybe you're working and stuff like that, and you have to combat that every day because you're mentally ill, mentally challenged, or just different and special in a sense. And my journey, it dates back when I was like a kid. I lost a lot of family members due to illness and old age and all kind of substance use, like alcohol, like smoking. It doesn't fall far from tree, huh? That's beside the point. My situation is under control, and I try to stay strong for the family. Take medication since 2023, which is oddly enough is when I was start streaming. So the medication, it takes time to actually kick in, and you get adapt to it, you get used to it. I'm not saying it's like it's the best thing ever. Sometimes you just need a bit of lifestyle change in order for you to be happy or for you to work. But for me, it was like a continuous like trauma again and again, and it's so tiring. It's so tiring. Like, you have to face that every day, and sometimes something unexpected happen, and you have to face that too. You have to realize that, and it come to a point where like I just use my my illness as a force to move forward. I want to be better. I want to do better. I don't want to just be like this forever. And my doctor has been really helpful, at least from where I am. I'm not sure about the other places around the world or like around the country, but from where I am is it's pretty decent, I would say. Though some doctors are not the best and not very good at taking patient like seriously. All they do is just I see that you doing this. Should we get you a social therapy? And then I would be like, no, I don't want to go to social therapy because it's gonna cost money. Not that I don't want to go there. I want a session with you and like getting some insight. So my main doctor is good. My main therapist is very good. She understands me in just a couple of minutes, like talking. It's kind of weird how it operates here. But anyway, many of your content creators, whether big or small, well, especially for the the indie one, the smaller one, they also have mental illness in a way, in a sense, and even big or small, just it's still illness, and that doesn't mean that you are that forever. It doesn't label you as, oh, this outcast or something. Though some people do see it like that, which is kind of sad. But I believe that professional help and with medication, with modern technology, modern medicine, I think it's good that we have all this, because back then medication was not as good and it makes you feel sleepy all the time. For my case, I think I developed like a tolerance for it, and in a way it helps me go through the day easily. But that might not be the same for everyone. Like I said, it depends on a different person and different medication. I just want to make a video about how VTuber goes through this kind of process, and not just VTuber, streamers, video makers, all that. But specifically for me, I guess I'm Vtubing for a living and stuff like that. And I would say, if you are insecure about your mental health, or you are afraid of being stigmatized or getting shamed by other people, that's fine. You can keep it to yourself. But if you have friends or family you can trust, talk to them. Be open with them. Don't be afraid to open up. I know this is, at least in Thailand, there's a thing that if you have medical record of mental health issue, you are less likely to be hired from a job. But that's not my concern, because I'm not looking for a job, like a stable job. Even so, most of the job that is available for me is open up, I guess is a way to put it, because I am speaking English, and that is one of the upper hand that you can have in Thailand. If you speak English, you can get like a bonus and like a boost in like hotel work, or maybe a restaurant with like a lot of foreigner tourism spot. Basically, if you speak English, you golden, whether you have a medical condition or not. Now this might be a bit personal, because I guess like the original idea for this VTuber model is that I'm like a mental health like VTuber that talk about mental health and all that. But I didn't really go with it, because I felt like I was trying to capitalize my illness, romanticize, glorifying. So I don't do that, even though I still have that tag on my YouTube video, or like stream description. But that's most of it's just a tag that represent me in a way, but I don't really fully embrace it, because I have my own issue. I have my own issue, and that kind of issue just it takes time to learn from it and adapt to it, and actually distill it into a chunk of knowledgeable information that you can share with other people. It doesn't just you don't just realize it like one day, like, oh, I'm doing this and that. Maybe you are, maybe you're a genius, but not for me. It takes time, and I think the best way to do that would be problem solving skill. But some people do have issue with that. They have problem with that, doing that. Just mental work is a lot. So they manage the stream, they manage the content creation, and they manage financial, maybe family relationship, friend relationship, or partner relationship, but also mental health, well-being. And the thing is, we all have different way to approach it. We have different way to deal with it, in a sense. One person that have depression is not going to be the same with other person that have depression, because of circumstances, environmental effect that have on you. So say live in the United States, compare that to someone who live in Thailand, then that's not gonna work, because they have different background, they have different family, environment thing. It's not the same, but I can give you like a general way to general advice that can help you go through this. But I'm not a guru, so don't take this for like a professional advice or anything. I'm just speaking from my experience. But one thing that is good for you when you navigating all this is to learn to see the pattern recognition is one hell of a tool. It has helped me go through a lot, not just mentally but financially and physically as well. Once you start seeing pattern, you would start understanding things that you might not actively know about. You subconsciously understanding it, and it become natural, basically, kind of like how I stream. I just do things and it become natural to me. So video like this is, it is natural, but it can be a bit loose sometimes, because I go in and back and just talk about the same thing over and over again sometimes. It's called yapping session for a reason. But yeah, pattern seeking ability is very useful. It helps you with every day, and I guess by just doing things that is logical and reasonable, working maybe part-time job, full-time job, maybe you study, try to see patterns in every waking life of yours, and you might appreciate later. I would say it's a skill, but it can be sometimes active skill, but it's sometimes passive skill as well. But it's a skill nonetheless, and I think you need it as much as I need it for myself, because man, I see pattern everywhere, and I can tell by instinct like what is good and what is bad. Like for example, my housing situation, we plan to go live to another place, different place. We invest in time and money to renovate a place that we don't even own. And I was like, no, that's not cost effective. That's not even like stable, even though we have a contract or something. So I pivot to the plan that is more reasonable, which is like rent like a decent house, not that one that is cheap. Well-being comes first. Money is not an issue. Though that plan would not be in effect, I guess, in a way to put it, until like next year or something. Because I want to save on my PC first, so I can stream more often and stream bigger games. Stream actual game and not lag on it. Think of it as like having a tool to pursue your career. I wouldn't call this a job. It's more of a career. Entertainment industry is a bit weird, You don't really get call this a job. It's a low priority career that whether people need it or not. Entertainer is not really high up there. We have like garbage disposer and doctors, something like that. Doctor is like number one, I think, and then there's a cleaner, and yeah, the common job and the mundane one, so to speak, is the most wanted one right now. And if you're not chronically ill like me, I have like health issue, all kind of health issue, which I'm not gonna disclose all of them. I do have a depression, major depression and anxiety, but that's all I'm gonna leave to it. If you are able to have a part-time job or full-time job and doing this as a side hobby, then well, go ahead. There's nothing you can lose there. You actually get more money and just do this as a hobby, something that is fun for you to do. Man, I talk about a lot of things. It's kind of crazy how I weave all these into like one big plot that is just too much and maybe overwhelming for some other people. But for me, it's like a cakewalk, because I internalize all this all the time. I talk with my parent, well, my mother really, not my deadbeat dad, but yeah. I internalize all this and have a talk with my mom about it, and my little brother, really. We are in this together, so we can just abandon each other. But if you notice, okay, so this is about relationship. If you notice that your life is not going as well and some burden are just too hard to carry, I would say just make a run for it, I suppose. That's not the best advice. If you have option to run and just start a new life, I say do it. But if you still have someone to care for and they actually genuinely care about you back, just stick around a little bit, encourage them to be as good as you or be better, All in all, I just want to say that mental health issue is not the same for everyone, like I said before. And content creators have to go through all this turmoil while managing their household, managing their financial, study, college, university, you can name it. Vtuber are not just tied to just one thing. Even corporate one, some of them are in university. I think Hashima was in like Australia for like overseas studying at college or like university. And then we have I think I forgot her name, but she was a single mom that had to take care of her young daughter, who is like the youngest VTuber to ever exist for the time being, which is inspiring. You carry all that, you have to go to work, you have to go to this and that, doing this and managing that, and you're still going strong. And I think it's interesting how social media and the public space of the internet has opened your eyes and spreading words of things that are happening in the world, and you can support them directly now. Back then, I would say like you wouldn't have help unless you are good with the local neighborhood or something like that, or maybe you have connection with the big dogs in the industry. But now you can get help from anywhere, really. You can get advice from here and there, including from here as well. I think it's beautiful that we all made a connection like this. You no longer just waiting for your parent to approve something that you want to do. You no longer have to go through all the teaching and studying, and I don't know, it's just, I guess I'll save that for another video. But yeah, I know it's about mental health, but I did talk a little bit too much about, you know, like life in general. But that's just how I do things. So I guess I'll end it here with a message. If you're going through like a rough time and you're a VTuber or a streamer or content creator, or just being a human in general, you know, just work a job, normal job and all that, don't forget to take care of yourself. Life can always get better. It can get worse, yes, but if you get worse, it can always get better. If you have reached your lowest point, the only way to go is up. You can't go any lower. Have some hope for yourself, and that will be the light for others as well. Stay strong, stay creative, and continue creating, and you will find success in doing that. Find your calling and be yourself, and keep yourself safe. I'm sorry, I had to say that because it's just funny to me. It's like a reverse thing, you know. If you know, you know. If you know to me, you know. Anyway, thanks for watching my my TED talk. I guess my official Shan talk. I guess. I wish you all the best, and I wish for myself as well to do the best I can do and achieve my goal, which is not really a big goal. It's just like get a new place, like get a decent place to buy and just live there and make making content. But yeah, I'll be seeing you on another video soon. Ciao.